Collagen supplementation has become increasingly popular in recent years, but is it really effective? Many people say that if we eat enough protein, there is really no point supplementing it. But is this really the case? And what about vegan collagen? Let's find out. Our ancestors obtained a significant amount of collagen through their diet because, unlike us, they ate the whole animal and cooked soups and stews from the parts rich in connective tissue. Therefore, evolutionarily, we have adapted to a high collagen intake. But today, most people consume almost exclusively muscle meats, such as chicken breast, which may have negative consequences to our health. About a third of the proteins found in our body consist of collagen. Our skin, hair, cartilage, and bones contain a significant amount of it. Collagen is what holds these tissues together and is responsible for their structure. As we age, we lose collagen tissue even at a faster rate than muscle mass, which can lead to joint pain and an increased risk of injuries. Smoking and environmental factors such as sun exposure or air pollution can also damage the collagen structure of our skin and other tissues. In order for our skin, bones, and joints to stay healthy, it is important to provide them with the necessary building blocks. Certain vitamins, minerals such as vitamin C or magnesium are necessary for collagen synthesis, but the amino acids from which collagen is made are also essential. The amino acid composition of collagen protein is very different from other sources. It has a much higher content of glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, while it is very low in methionine and BCAAs, and it also has no tryptophan or cysteine. Although these essential amino acids are very important for growth, and for example muscle building, in animal studies their lower intake resulted in a significant increase in lifespan. So for adults, it is a good idea to get some of our protein from sources that contain less of them, such as collagen or plant proteins. In addition to collagen synthesis, glycine also has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and many other beneficial effects, and can also improve our sleep. Collagen found in foods is a giant protein molecule, which makes it very difficult to digest. Collagen peptides, on the other hand, are produced by hydrolysis from collagen-rich animal tissues, resulting in much smaller bioactive peptides, which usually consist of a combination of only 2 or 3 amino acids, and therefore have special properties. Some of the collagen peptides do not break down into 3 amino acids, but are absorbed directly from the digestive system in the form of these peptides. Several studies have shown that after collagen peptide supplementation, the level of these peptides increase significantly in the blood, which is good because they not only provide building blocks for collagen production, but also stimulate our own collagen synthesis in our cells. Since the amino acid composition of collagen differs significantly from other protein sources, and the composition of animal collagen is almost identical to our own, it seems logical that if we do not consume collagen-rich tissues, it is useful to supplement it. However, many people believe that since collagen is mainly composed of non-essential amino acids, if we simply eat enough protein, our body can produce the amino acids found in collagen. Since collagen is completely broken down into 3 amino acids anyway, they won't necessarily be utilized in the places where we would want them to. But these claims are not necessarily true either, as some collagen peptides can enter the bloodstream directly through the peptide transporters without being broken down into 3 amino acids. And according to some studies, we also need more glycine than what a traditional protein-rich diet usually provides or our own bodies could make. For comparison, 10 grams of collagen peptide contain about as much glycine as 250 grams of chicken breast, and plant foods contain even less than that. 2 recent studies are also often cited against collagen supplementation, which showed that there is no significant difference in muscle collagen synthesis after training between whey protein or collagen supplementation. However, muscle tissue has a very low collagen content, so these results do not prove that collagen supplementation is unnecessary altogether, since most people supplement it for its effects on the skin and joints. In a randomized clinical trial in burn patients, collagen supplementation significantly accelerated wound healing compared to the same amount of protein from soy and other regular sources. It is likely that conventional protein sources are better for muscle growth, but collagen is better for our connective tissues such as the skin and cartilage. Several systematic reviews and meta-analyses support the beneficial effects of collagen peptide supplementation on skin health. The main results show that they reduce wrinkles, increase skin elasticity, hydration, firmness, and brightness, decrease pores and solar damage, and increase collagen density. It is important that these were not determined subjectively, but by objective measuring devices and tests such as biopsies. The improvement was on average 8 to 10%, which is not bad for an 8 to 12 week treatment. Another area of research where collagen peptides have been shown to be helpful is in various orthopedic conditions. In summary, collagen peptide supplementation increases bone mineral density and strength, inhibits inflammatory cytokines, improves joint stability, functional capacity, stiffness, mobility, and muscle recovery, and it also reduces pain and mitigates markers of joint cartilage degradation. It may also be useful to supplement it to prevent bone and cartilage loss due to aging, in cases of strenuous physical activity, or if someone is overweight, as these place greater stress on the joints. It can also help in the cases of trauma and burns. To support cartilage and joint health, the effective dose is 5 to 15 grams per day, but of course if someone finds it useful or wants to increase their protein intake, a lot more can be taken. Finally, is there such a thing as vegan collagen? Since collagen is only found in animal tissues, unfortunately vegan collagen does not exist, although scientists may already be able to produce it with the help of genetically modified bacteria and yeast. There are a few vegan products, such as Shilajit, which has increased collagen synthesis and reduced its breakdown in some studies. However, most products that are advertised as vegan collagen contain mostly free amino acids or vitamins and trace elements that are necessary for collagen synthesis, such as vitamin C or silica. However, the effectiveness of these products, unlike collagen peptides, has either not been tested at all or only in a handful of studies. For example, a special form of silica stabilized with choline is patented under the name BioSil. There is only one study from nearly 20 years ago in which it improved the quality of skin, hair and nails, and another one in which it improved hair. However, in a 2017 study, it was found to be ineffective in treating knee osteoarthritis, and all studies were sponsored by the manufacturer. Silica is abundant in plant foods and is often found in multivitamins, so most people probably already consume enough of it, especially if they eat a plant-based diet. Supplementing BioSil is only useful if someone is deficient in silica, but even then, there are much cheaper options. Therefore, most products that are marketed as vegan collagen do not contain collagen at all, so their effect is not the same as collagen peptides, but supplementing with the amino acids found in collagen, such as glycine, can also be beneficial on their own. In summary, if we consume animal products, it is worth choosing sources that are richer in collagen, while supplementing with collagen peptides is mostly beneficial for our skin and connective tissues. If you liked the video and found it useful, please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below.